I hate fairy tales, but my life is like a Cinderella story. Mom left when I was very young, Dad remarried, and I got a new mom and a stepsister, Gloria and her daughter Deborah. Cute, right? Yeah, they acted nice while Dad was alive, but one day he was gone, and Gloria got her hands on all his money. She no longer pretended to be a kind mom after that. Hi, my name is Betty. One day I was sitting in my room and working on a program. I loved programming and was preparing for an IT fest. If I won a prize, I would get a scholarship to a prestigious college and finally move out. Cool, right? It was my chance. Betty, are you on the computer again? Damn it. My dear mommy had walked into my room. She crossed her arms on her chest and frowned at me. You are supposed to be helping around the house. Go to the living room now. There was no point in arguing, and I reluctantly trudged down the stairs. Deborah had spilled aromatic oil on the carpet, and I had to clean it up. By the way, have you noticed how luxurious our house was? We had a security guard, a personal driver, and even a cook. But for some reason, they made me do all the work of a maid. Deborah did a face mask, lay on the couch, and relaxed. My sister was obsessed with her looks. She skipped classes and dreamed of marrying a rich guy. Just imagine. Her mother encouraged it. Deborah, sweetie, I ordered a new cream. It should be delivered soon. Betty, why are you standing there? Get to cleaning. The worst thing was that Deborah kept making fun of me and laughing meanly. Gloria didn't scold her once. It was infuriating. Eventually, I snapped. I'm your daughter too. You told Dad so yourself. She laughed. And you believe that? I would have done anything to marry a successful businessman. I only needed his money. Why, I felt sad for both myself and my dad. I quickly finished cleaning up and locked myself in my room. I sat down at the computer again and opened an IT forum. I felt better chatting to the people on there. One day, I talked to a guy who was also writing a program for the fest that would allow users to restore deleted files. To my surprise, we spent the whole night messaging each other. Because of that, I didn't get enough sleep and barely woke up for school the next morning. Everything was going wrong that day. Before the classes, Deborah and her friends started making fun of me. I had no way of getting my inheritance before coming of age. Gloria didn't give me any pocket money, so I had to wear hand-me-downs. Because of that, my classmates constantly mocked me. Deborah and her friends blocked my way and wouldn't let me into the classroom. Hey, maid, are you sure you've cleaned everything up? I suddenly noticed Alan, the most popular guy in school. It became clear why Deborah was showing off. She had been pining for him for a long time. While she was distracted, I managed to slip into the classroom unnoticed. But my troubles did not end there. In the dining room, Deborah demanded that I bring her and her friends food. Yeah, right. Of course I ignored her and only got my own lunch. When I was passing by their table, Deborah tripped me and I fell. It would have been fine, but my soup splashed on the principal. She got angry and started telling me off. I'm not the one at fault here. The principal didn't bother getting to the bottom of it and told me to clean the school terrarium as punishment. Great. Like being a housekeeper wasn't enough. Everyone laughed at me. The only one who didn't was a nerd called Rick. I braved through the day and only burst into tears at home. I worked on the program to get my mind off things and then opened the forum. There was a message waiting for me from the guy I'd spent the whole night talking to. We didn't use our real names and only knew each other's usernames. It was fun. Before I knew it, I was complaining about my problems. I told him that my family hated me and everyone at school bullied me. He comforted me. He didn't have it easy either. His father wanted him to follow in his footsteps, but he liked programming. Since then, we spent our evenings texting each other. At some point, we started flirting. I waited for each message with bated breath. I felt like a complete fool. Was I really falling in love with a guy who I'd never even seen? One day I came home from school and suddenly I heard Gloria talking on the phone. You're not getting anything. Don't you dare go near her. I wondered what that was all about, but I didn't hear anything else. After yelling a bit more, she hung up. Wow, Gloria sure knew how to throw a fit. There was a big concert in the city the next day. All sorts of performers were going to be there. To my surprise, my friend from the forum suggested we meet there. Damn it, I panicked. I was worried that he wouldn't like me. I wasn't as pretty as Deborah. I hesitated for a long time, but finally decided to risk it. As I was leaving the house, I suddenly noticed an expensive car at the gate. But then our security guard came up to the driver, said something, and the car drove off. I wondered who it had been. At school, Deborah and her friends kept bothering me as usual. I paid almost no attention to them and only thought about the mysterious IT guy. I wondered what he would look like. I hoped he was handsome, tall, and strong. After school, Rick suddenly came up to me. He looked shy. Let's go to the concert together. I didn't want to hurt his feelings and tried to turn him down gently. I popped home to change before the concert. All of a sudden, Gloria told me that I had to clean the house at once. I was so sick and tired of her. I tried to stay calm and asked her to let me go to the concert. When Gloria heard about the concert, for some reason, she turned pale and lost her temper. She forbade me from going, and I got mad. Why can't you just hire a maid if you're so rich? Gloria grinned. Because I already have one, and it's you. At that moment, I realized that she just liked to make my life hell. I couldn't believe I had once thought of her as my mom. After Gloria had left, I changed my clothes, waited a bit, and went to the concert. I didn't care anymore. I slipped out the back door and climbed over the fence. Hooray, freedom. The mysterious stranger and I agreed to meet next to the stage. There wasn't much time left. I was making my way through the crowd when I suddenly noticed Deborah and her friends. They had surrounded Alan and wouldn't let him pass. I felt a bit sorry for that handsome guy. Getting rid of my sister wasn't easy. Soon, I came to the place we agreed to meet at and looked around. There was no one nearby except Rick. He was also looking around and obviously waiting for someone. Oh no. So that's who I had been texting. Why hadn't I guessed it right away? I felt cheated and decided not to come up to him. I didn't want to go home, so I stayed to watch the concert. At some point, Roxana, a popular singer, came on stage. I really liked her. During the performance, she suddenly looked right at me, although it probably only felt that way. The concert was really cool, and even lifted my spirits. When it was over, I went home, and suddenly noticed something. The car I had seen by our house in the morning was in the parking lot. All of a sudden, Roxana got out of it and came up to me. What was going on? She offered me a ride. I looked around to make sure there was no one else but us there. She was definitely talking to me. What did she want? I hesitated a bit, but got into the car. We drove around the city, and then Roxana suggested we go shopping. Noticing my bewilderment, she promised she would explain everything later. While we were shopping, she asked me about my life. I told her about Gloria and Deborah's bullying. For some reason it seemed like my words pleased her. After shopping, Roxana drove me home and promised to pick me up after school the next day. Of course, Gloria pounced on me as soon as I got home. She scolded me for going to the concert even though she'd forbidden it. You aren't going anywhere except school from now on. You're grounded. Got it? Deborah giggled. I snidely asked her how things were going with Alan. She got angry and immediately shut up. I spent half the night working on the program and almost finished it. Then I opened the forum out of habit and noticed a message from my friend, who I thought was Rick. He was asking me why I hadn't come and suggested we meet again. I tried to gently let him down and said I was busy. Unfortunately, my dreams hadn't come true. As promised, Roxana picked me up from school the next day. We drove around the city again and then went to a cafe. She ordered some food for us and hesitantly admitted that she had a confession to make. I don't know how to say it, but I'm your mom. I was so stunned I froze. What had she said? I didn't remember my mom at all. After she had left, Dad had cut her out of our lives. Roxana said her producer had told her she could have either a career or a family. She had chosen her career. Dad had gotten full custody and forbidden her from talking to me. Roxana apologized and said that she wanted to fix everything. I was so shocked that I didn't know how to react. On the one hand, she had left me, but on the other hand, she was the only family I had left. I was glad she had found me, but I was still very hurt and wasn't about to forgive her so easily. Please give me a chance to fix everything. I just chuckled. Roxana gave me a ride home. At the gate, we suddenly ran into Gloria. She immediately went berserk and demanded that Roxana stay away from me. It was only at that moment that it dawned on me that she knew about everything. That was who she had been talking to on the phone. Listening to them argue was too much for me. I went into my room, turned on the computer as usual. I finally finished the program. It was working. I suddenly realized that there was someone standing behind me. I turned around and saw Deborah. My sister was standing there with her arms folded and sneering at me. You've always been a nobody, and you'll stay a nobody. Don't think that Roxana will change anything. Was it just my imagination, or did Deborah envy me for having a famous singer mom? I didn't want to get riled up again, so I ignored her words. After Deborah had left, I opened the forum. Rick had texted me again. I wanted to talk to someone, so I replied. Despite everything, I liked talking to him. The next day, Roxana sent me a ton of gifts. It's not that she could buy my forgiveness, but it was still nice. I especially liked the laptop. Now I didn't have to stay at home to write programs. I also got beautiful clothes. One day I came to school wearing them. Everyone was stunned. For the first time in my life, I felt beautiful. Cinderella had a fairy godmother, and I had Roxana. I couldn't call her mom yet. One day after computer science, Rick came up to me. He asked me if I was going to participate in the IT Fest the next day. I sighed and decided to tell him the truth. Yes, I am. Listen, Rick, it's me you've been talking to on the forum. What forum? I don't hang out on any forums. I was surprised and explained what I meant. I told him I had seen him near the stage, and then I found out something incredible. Rick had just been waiting for a friend by the stage. I was shocked. Had I made a mistake? I opened the forum and saw an unread message from my mysterious friend. He was suggesting we meet again, and I agreed. I came to the park, but there was no one there. Soon I noticed Alan standing nearby. What was he doing there? Alan saw me and came closer. He was as surprised as I was. We looked at each other in silence for a while. Then we started talking and, well, you get it, right? He turned out to be the guy I'd been texting. We had never talked offline before, so it was awkward at first, but the awkwardness quickly passed. Spending time with him was really interesting and cool. We got to discussing the upcoming fest. Alan said I was very smart and cool. That was so nice to hear. I couldn't believe I was hanging out with the most popular guy in school. I'd always thought he was arrogant, but he wasn't like that at all. Alan told me that he had been late for our first meeting because Deborah had found him. I remembered her and her friends bothering him. I came back home feeling great. My mysterious friend turned out to be the guy of my dreams. Well, wasn't Cinderella supposed to have a Prince Charming? I was so happy I even decided to forgive Roxana. In the morning, I was woken up by a knock on the door. It was Gloria, and she said she wanted to talk. Roxana doesn't really care about you. She's having problems with her production company and needs money. You will soon come of age and get your part of the inheritance. That's why Roxana showed up and wanted to make up with you. Of course, I didn't believe her. Then Gloria showed me various articles about Roxana. She even managed to get copies of documents from the production company. I still didn't want to believe her, but deep down I knew that it was true. That hurt. My own mother had betrayed me for the second time. She was no better than Gloria. However, the fest was starting in a couple of hours, so I couldn't just sit there and wallow. I decided to check my program. I turned on the computer and couldn't believe my eyes. It had been deleted. With my heart pounding, I looked through the cloud storage and the folder with copies, but it was nowhere to be found. All of a sudden, Deborah walked into my room and looked at me triumphantly. "I told you you'd stay a nobody." So that's who had deleted everything. She must have seen me type in the password the last time she'd been in my room. It was a disaster. I was so angry I wanted to hit her. But then Alan called me. I told him everything and he calmed me down. He told me to bring the computer I had been using to the fest. When we met, Alan reminded me about his program and told me about his plan. It was brilliant. When it was Alan's turn to show the judges his project, he restored the data on my laptop using his program. It had been created for situations just like mine. Then it was my turn. Everything went well and I got the grant I dreamed of. Alan did too. We were over the moon. After the festival, Roxana came up to me. She started congratulating me and my mood was immediately ruined. "I know everything. You're only interested in my inheritance." At first, Roxana denied everything and even pretended to be offended, but then she admitted to having problems with the production company. "It's not just about that. I really want to get to know you. You're my daughter." I wanted to believe her, but I couldn't. Soon enough, I graduated from high school and Alan and I got into our dream college. As you probably guessed already, we started dating. I finally moved out. Deborah is terribly jealous of me. She failed all the exams. Gloria started snapping at her and blaming her for her failures. It's going to be my birthday soon. I will come of age and get my share of the inheritance. I want to spend that money on further education and open an IT company with Alan. I hate fairy tales, but I think I deserve my happy ending. Roxana is still trying to get to know me. Do you think I should give her a chance?